What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Saints Rise podcast. 2025, baby. Can't believe we are here. A year ago, I was completely lost. I had no plan going into the year, and now I find myself a year later more self-confident, have more self-belief, and more of an idea of where I'm going in life, and just overall doing way better. So I'm so glad to do this recap with you guys and to share with you what I've experienced over this past year. So over this past year, the first thing I did was complete 75 hard, or let's just say I started 75 hard here back in New York in January 1st of 2024, and that only lasted 9 days. I wound up smoking while I was on that in the first 6 or 7 days, and then I got back to California and I wound up not taking my progress photo the day I flew back, and I started over and I actually completed it, and man, oh man, was that a life-changing experience. Into 30 days in, I just got so clear and was so in tune with the higher power that I was able to see clearly my future, where I currently was in life, and where I want to go. And through that experience, it led me to moving back home to New York. I wanted to reconnect with my family, set my relationships the right way, and have a better future. And this is where my better future was at this current moment. The 75 hard journey was way more than just exercising and getting myself right physically. It was more of a mental challenge, and it created mental toughness and my ability to follow through on the things that I said I was going to do, allowing me to gain that self-confidence and self-belief. After doing that, and I'm currently living the Live Hard program, it's created so much confidence and ability and knowing that whatever I set my mind to, I can accomplish. So I can't believe that it's basically been a year since I've uploaded. I don't really know why I haven't. I think I've mostly just been focused on my personal excellence and developing myself into the person that you're looking at today. But to be quite honest with you, it was the hardest year of my life, but it's also been the greatest year of my life because I've grown in ways that are just unimaginable, and I can't be thankful enough for experiencing the difficulties and the challenges that I've experienced, and I'm so excited to share them with you guys so that you can learn from my experiences and you don't have to go through the same thing. Moving back home to New York, living with my parents, was not an easy thing to do. I had to put my ego aside. I always told myself that I would never move back to New York. If I ever moved back to New York, that I was a failure and that I was not cut out to do the life that I imagined to live. But now that I've actually put my ego aside, moved back to New York, and started to get in more alignment with the life that I actually want to live, I know that this was the smartest move I could have ever made, because I could have stayed living out in California, but I was just going to continue to struggle just to get by and to just break even. So now that I've been back in New York, it's been a challenge, of course, and it's, as you can tell, it's pretty cold out here compared to when I was filming out in California, but I'm very grateful to be back home, to be with my family, reestablishing my relationships, and just continuing to develop myself. I wouldn't have been able to develop myself like I've developed myself over this past year if it hasn't been for being home, being grounded, and having the stability to work on myself. One of the toughest parts about living the Live Hard program and navigating 75 hard for me was getting through sobriety and staying sober. As I've talked about in the past, dealing with my weed addiction has been a challenge for me, and it's something that I'm still currently overcoming. It's something that I've been dealing with for 7 years now, and dealing with that for that long, and then changing your identity, because that's what it really is. In order to overcome an addiction, you have to change your identity of who you are and what you're about and who you surround yourself and what you're doing. So it's been one heck of a journey, but through sobriety, I have been able to accomplish so much more than I was when I was smoking weed. So I'm just so thankful that I am on this journey and that I'm choosing the higher power of staying sober and staying clear-minded. Through living the Live Hard program, staying sober, pursuing fitness, I've ultimately come to realize that I'm meant to lead people and to inspire people. And over this past couple of months, I actually got certified as a personal trainer, and I'm going to be pursuing the coaching lifestyle, personal training, being an online coach, and just leading people to live their personal excellence. I actually was just hired at Equinox and I'm going to be starting there as a personal trainer, and I couldn't be more excited to get going and to start impacting people's lives on a day-to-day basis, in person and online through social media. One of the hardest parts that people don't talk about in personal excellence and changing and evolving is that middle area and the gray area between when you don't fit in with your old friends and you're not the person that you're supposed to become in order to fit in with the new friends. I'm currently in that spot right now. I don't fit in necessarily with my old friends. Yeah, I'm still friends with them. Yeah, I'll hang out with them from time to time, but we're not hanging out like we used to. And I'm not also hanging out with the people that I ultimately want to be hanging out with that are at a higher level of me, because I'm still developing myself and the skills in order to get into that circle. So it's a very lonely time, and it's something that a lot of people will have to go through in order to change and develop themselves into the person that they ultimately want to become. But I can assure you that the person that I'm becoming is so incredibly aligned and at a higher frequency than that old person, and going through this lonely phase is nothing. And when you think about the bigger vision and the things that I'm ultimately going to be experiencing and living in life. Over this past year, I've learned so many lessons. I've grown so much as a person. One of the number one lessons that I've learned is that discipline is key. If you can't stay disciplined and consistent with what you're doing, the progress won't be as big as it could be. You could do the work for a month, 2 months, but if you just go back to your old ways and screw off for another month or two, you're just going to find yourself in the same exact position that you once were. So it's a compounding effect of doing the work day in, day out, and staying dedicated to what you're trying to ultimately accomplish. You got to be okay with being alone. I've been alone a lot this year, and it's something that I've done in the past, but this year was specifically hard being back here in New York, because this is where I grew up and this is where everything I know. And being alone in this time is not an easy thing, especially when you see other people you know with their friends, going out, doing blah, 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 blah. But being able to be alone is such an empowering thing. It connects you with the higher power and empowers you to be the person that you're ultimately supposed to be. You gotta focus on progress and not perfection. Listen, it's not gonna be perfect 24/7. You're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. The most important thing is that you continue to go up along the way through those setbacks. Keep pushing forward no matter what. Embrace the lessons. There's no such thing as failures. You got to embrace your failures as lessons, learn the lesson, and continue forward and get smarter and go harder. The number one thing you could do for yourself this year is invest in yourself. Investing in myself with fitness, my education, and just being sober and living a more aligned life with the higher power has empowered me to start living a life way beyond the life that I could have ever imagined. My dreams have far exceeded the dreams that I once had. My dreams now are infinite. I can't even really put into words how big I'm thinking and the amount of impact I want to have on this world. So just keep believing in yourself, keep pushing forward every single day, and keep pursuing that personal excellence. If I could do this work, so can you. The only difference is the fact that I started. That's the number one thing you got to do. Just get started. When you get started, you gain the momentum, you gain the self-belief, and you're just going to believe in yourself more and more every single day. And the more you believe in yourself, the more you're going to do it. And the more you do it, the more you believe in yourself. It's a crazy concept, but once you start, you can't stop. I just want to thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for being a part of my journey and for inspiring me, because without you guys, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. My number one objective in life is to defend mankind and lead people to their personal excellence. So my hope for you is to pursue your personal excellence, become the greatest version of yourself. And if I could help in any way, please reach out to me. Follow the content for more. I love you guys, and I'll catch you next time.